Hey, welcome to our daily edition of Friend of God. We're taking this directly from our new book called Friend of God, Letting Jesus Say Who You Really Are, because we really believe that when you learn how Jesus defines you, it changes how you define you. You are not the sum of your mistakes and victories. You are who Jesus says you are. You are the one He loves. Thus, you are a friend of God. And in this incredible journey through the writings of John, we see John telling us over and over again, this is what it looks like to be loved by Jesus. And so through 40 days, we're going to take a look at what Jesus is showing to John, and thus John is showing to us. That John comes to the conclusion that I am the one that Jesus loves, and thus we can come to that same conclusion. So, every day, we're going to take one of these chapters and give you just a very quick thing to think about and pray about for that day. And so here is today's episode. Day 12, I am the one He commands. What's interesting when you read the Gospels, that you oftentimes are a little bit stumped by how Jesus doesn't give us a lot of commands. He tells us what right living would look like. He tells us what the benefits are to various things that we do. When it comes to issues of right and wrong, we don't really wade too much into that. I mean, you see some of that definitely in the Sermon on the Mount. But you think about the 10 Commandments. You think about the 600 laws the Pharisees came up with. You think about all of the rules and regulations when it came to meal prep and even physical maintenance that we read about in Leviticus. And then you get to Jesus and He comes and says, I got two things for you, love God, love people. And then we get to this chapter in John 13 where Jesus says, I'm going to actually simplify it even more. That is, the way that you love God is by how you love people. You will show others you are my disciples by how you love. I love the simplicity of this, that we are able to love God by loving others. Jesus says this in John 13, verse 34, a new command I give you. Love one another as I have loved you, so you must love one another. It's really kind when people come up to me and say, hey, I loved your book, or hey, that was a great sermon, I love your teaching. But it's even better when they come up and they compliment my kids. They value my wife. They value the things and people that I value. When they do that, then I know that we have things in common. And God would much rather us love Him by loving each other rather than saying, boy, I sure love God, I just don't like His church. That would be like me saying, I like you, just not your wife. Well, the way Jesus is saying, the way that we show our love to God is by the way we love each other. So here's a question to wrestle with today. What are the things you tend to add to this simple way to follow Jesus? Well, yeah, you've got to love others, but you also have to. What is that? And could that be something you just put down as a subpoint? And finally, here's a prayer to pray. Jesus, thank you for making following you not only clear, but also doable. Who is it you can serve today? Who can you show love to that expresses your love for their God, their Father, your God, and your Father? See you tomorrow for day 13. Well, I hope that was helpful for you today. Take that with you throughout the remainder of your day. We'll be back tomorrow with another daily edition. Make sure you check us out on YouTube and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. And we'll be back tomorrow with another daily edition of Friend of God.